We are live again every Wednesday at 12 Eastern. Hey guys, my name is Will Anagnos. I'm the founder of WA Marketing Solutions, the founder of the Referral Partner Acquisition Group, and your host here today on the Referral Partner Acquisition Show. If you're new to the show, welcome. Every single Wednesday for the past 6 years now. We've been a company for 7 plus, but I've been doing these lives almost every single Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern. And so, welcome. Every single week, I'm here teaching you guys, mortgage professionals, helping you grow your referral network. Because we all know that once you have a reliable network that you can get referrals from, when it's big enough, doesn't matter what market you're in, you typically can rely on it for business. And that's what I'm here to help you guys with today. Whether you've been doing this for 30 plus years and you've been doing it the old way and you're still struggling, or if you're brand new to the industry and you're trying to hit the ground running and doing things right from the get go, then you're in the right spot. Last week, we went over and I taught you guys a daily outreach strategy to acquiring more potential referral partners into your sphere, being able to then communicate and get conversations from online to offline, booking one on one appointments to ultimately have that first appointment with different real estate agents, wherever you want to have them with, whether it's in your state or across states, setting yourself up to be in a position to earning their business. Now, in that episode last week, I did talk about follow up because how can you talk about daily outreach without mentioning follow up? But today, we're dedicating this episode just to specific realtor follow up, a strategy that has been working for our clients, a strategy that I developed with the help of my team and my clients because they give me great feedback, and I appreciate that every single day. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Good to see you again. Today, I'm going to be teaching you guys a realtor follow-up strategy for loan officers. So if you're a loan officer and you don't have a follow-up system, realtors don't call you back, realtors don't respond to your messages, they ghost you, or even worse, they go out to coffee and drinks with you and they go to your open house and they drink your wine. And then when you call them, you don't hear back from them. That's the worst case scenario. And so I'm going to help you guys bypass all of that, but you have to trust the process. And even more importantly, you have to implement it consistently. If you don't do these things consistently, like anything in life, it's not going to work out as a permanent solution. And my goal as a CEO of a mortgage marketing company is to provide you with a permanent solution to the overlying problem. So if you're struggling to follow up with realtors, if they're not responding to you, or if they're just being rude, that's not good either, then you're going to find today's episode very valuable. I'm going to be teaching you how to follow up properly. So if you're new, please let me know by slapping that like button. If you've been here watching our previous episodes and you're a returning viewer, slap that love button, show me some love, let me know that you're here. And if you guys do have any questions, I'm here live and I can answer those questions live for you right here, right now, completely free of charge. I'm here out of my own decision. I want to provide some value to you guys in this group. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to show you my screen first because I have a document ready to go for you guys. So let me find it. So I did start the process, but I am going to write a lot with you guys. So let me just zoom in and let's get the process started. So you should know that most of your business, if you've been doing this a while, you already know this. Most of your business is going to come from following up. Very rarely are you going to make one phone call and get a client, send one email and get a client, go to one open house and get a client, and that's it. Most of your business is going to come from follow up. So systemizing follow up is one of the biggest keys to growing a mortgage business or any business for what it matters. When planning how you're going to follow up, you want to take things first one category at a time. So I listed out some categories. We're going to focus on realtor follow up, but for everything I go down here below, I go over, you're going to want to have all of this ready for any target audience that you're trying to earn business from. If you're trying to earn business from realtors, then let's start with that. But eventually, maybe you have a CDLP and you want to leverage that to get in front of divorce attorneys. You need a follow up strategy to get in front of that audience. Same for financial advisors, accountants, CPAs, real estate investors, and any other audience that you're trying to get business from. And by the way, we're not talking about home buyers. We're not talking about directly to consumers. We're talking about sources where an unlimited amount of consumers can come from. Why would you go after one opportunity when you can go after one source that provides an unlimited amount of opportunities, assuming you do the loan right and assuming they like, know, and trust you as the go to mortgage professional for them? So, we're going to start with realtors today. But if you're someone who wants to prospect all these audiences, you're going to want to have follow up strategies and systems set up for all of your audiences, very similar to the way we have done it. Now, it's taken us, what, 7 years now to get to that point? So, if you want to shortcut your way to acquiring a follow up system, you can just schedule a call with me. In this group, there is a link. But if you want to do it all yourself, then let's continue today. So, when you're prospecting real estate agents, you're emailing, you're sending messages, you're making phone calls. Those could be texts, they could be on social media. The point is, you're doing your initial outreach, but you don't want to stop just there. You want to have follow up set in place. And in my last episode, that's in this group, you can scroll down and check it out from last week. We went over some outreach scripts and strategies that you can use. But as you do this, as you're consistently calling, texting, emailing, reaching out on social media to 10, 20, 30 agents every single day, you're going to get different sorts of results. And you're going to need a strategy for each individual result. First, I'm going to explain how to handle that for each one. And then I'm going to actually show you in our system how our clients are maneuvering around follow ups and how they're systemizing the follow up strategy and why it's worked and why they're getting appointments from it. And those appointments are leading to referrals. So, all good things. So, when you're doing follow up every single day, you're going to get non responders. You're going to get people who look at their phone, they see your message, they don't care, and they move on to the next thing. Or they don't see it. That's also completely valid as well. So, when someone doesn't respond, you're going to want to have at least 7 follow up messages ready to go. And in these 7 follow up messages, you do not want to provide too much information up front. You don't want to engage them to have a conversation with you online. The point of an online conversation is to get offline onto a phone call. That's where progress happens. So have at least 7 follow up messages ready to go. And the frame around these messages are going to be, hey, name, just being persistent, it's my job, or hey, name, just following up, hey, name, XYZ, did you see my previous message above? That's it. Get them to scroll up and see the main original message that you sent them before. That's what non responders need to get. You're going to want to craft 7 of these and put them on a Google Doc or something. Because if you just say whatever comes to your mind to every single person when you're following up, you're not going to know what sticks and what doesn't stick. So do what we have done and test 7 follow up messages to non responders and see what works. More importantly, see what doesn't and optimize from there. Next, we have neutral reply. When someone says something like, I'm not sure, thanks for connecting, thanks for following me, how are you? Or just my favorite, hello. Completely ignoring the initial outreach message because you said more than hello. So when you get a neutral reply, you're going to want to do 2 things. One, you're going to want to re-ask the question you asked in the first message, which is, I can help you with XYZ. This is who I am. Would you be open to a chat? Okay. And then, and this is getting into a little bit technical, but after you've responded manually to that neutral reply, you're going to want to have one of your systems. It could be any CRM, honestly. They all do it. Get a system that follows up with them on a different channel because they haven't given you an answer on social media. So why not send them an email, send them a text message? So the way we have it set up for our clients and the way we've seen work is we have these pipelines, these opportunity pipelines. I'm sure you're watching this. You're like, oh, I've seen this before. I'm sure you have. And everyone should have this. Everyone should have their own system that's theirs that moves with them from company to company. And as you can see, we have this stage called neutrally replied or replied neutrally. If my new lead, my new realtor says something neutral, I'm going to move them over here. And that's going to trigger an automated follow up loop that will reach out to them completely on its own so that I can move on to bigger and better things in my business, working with clients, working on loans, etc. When I say me, I mean you. And if we get into the actual flow of things, I'll happy to show you what neutral reply looks like. Neutral. I can't spell. Maybe it's called follow up. There we go. Follow up stage 2. There we go. Stage 2 realtors. As you can see, we have a ton for all audiences. We've already figured this out, so if you work with us, you don't have to figure it out. We give you everything that we've figured out for you. So when you're following up with someone and they've given you a neutral reply, you're going to want to respond. But the thing is, you don't want to then check every other day if they've responded and then check again and check again and follow up. That's really annoying. That's really tedious. You can do it for 5 people, but once you're prospecting hundreds of people a week, which you should, then you're not going to do it. You're going to get lost. So this is why we systemize things. You place someone in stage 2, which automatically puts them into this follow-up loop. So the way our loop works is they get put into stage 2. The system waits till Tuesday, which was yesterday. Then they get an email follow up. And that email follow up can read something similar to, hey, name, it's name. Hope you're doing well. We chatted on XYZ platform recently. I'm trying to grow my realtor network to help my current and future clients. I hope you don't mind me reaching out to you here. Would you be open to having a chat sometime? Thanks. And then your signature. Now, let me dissect this message. This works because, one, you're saying, hey, name, it's name. You're saying who you are up front. Hopefully that rings a bell. But if it doesn't, this is where the next part comes. Hope you're well. Something nice. We were chatting on LinkedIn recently. That is the refresher. And I'm trying to grow my realtor network to help my current and future clients. So you just refreshed their memory and the reason as to why you reached out. And now you're being polite because they probably didn't give you their email. I hope you don't mind me reaching out to you here. You're acknowledging the fact that this may not be okay, but most people say, hey, it's completely okay. I appreciate it. But the fact that you say this goes a long way. And then the call to action. Would you be open to a chat sometime? And so after that goes out, if no one responds, then the next Tuesday, the same concept goes out, but through a text message. And this is assuming that you've collected their email and phone number into the system. And the same or similar message gets sent out, but through text. Sometimes people are better with texting, some people are better with email, and vice versa. So it's good to cover all channels. So when someone replies neutrally to you, you want to get back to them on that original platform, but also use your system to place them in the right spot so that they get put into the right follow-up system. And the cool part about this is that it goes down a couple weeks and then loops back to the beginning. So this hypothetical realtor lead, they're going to get followed up with every Tuesday until we get some sort of reply. The system will stop on response, and that's great because we want a response. Even if it's a negative response, we want a response. A negative response is better than no response. At least we can move on to the next person. So for neutral reply, you're going to want to remind them your first touch point. and place them in your multi outreach channel system. Because maybe if you're following up with them on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, maybe they check their email or their text messages more often than they do those other inboxes. That's how our clients have been handling the neutral reply. Now, positive replies. When someone says, yes, I'd love to chat, sometimes you go, great, does tomorrow work? And then they just ghost all of a sudden. Now, sometimes it's because they were never interested in the first place. People do lie. It sucks, but they do lie. Sometimes people just get busy. I mean, as someone who gets busy, and you're probably watching this thinking, yeah, everyone gets busy. So don't take these things personally. But they did say they wanted to chat. So if a realtor says, I want to chat, then they do want to chat until they express that they don't. So if they've said they wanted to chat and they ghost, they still want to chat until they've said otherwise. So what we do is we move people like that over to wants to chat now. And that gives us the ability to understand everybody in this column has told us that they want to chat now. And once we have everybody in a column, it's really easy for us to just send them a follow up, very similar to this system right here, but you want to make it more of a one off. So for the positive reply people, if they're not getting back to you on social media, then you put them into your system and reach out to them via email and SMS. But instead of putting them in a loop, because they want to chat, don't annoy them by putting them in a loop. The goal is a little bit different. It's similar, but it's different. You're just trying to confirm the appointment time. So you're basically on your follow up going to be like, hey, name, just following up. Did you still want to chat on Tuesday at 11? So when people want to chat and you're following up because they haven't confirmed a date and a time, then this is a great message that you can follow. Or you could just use your system, place them in a stage, place them in a workflow, and they get that automatically. And then it would loop if they haven't booked the appointment yet. And you're going to want to do this more than once until, honestly, you're going to want to do this forever until they said, yes, I'm so sorry, I got busy, or you know what, I changed my mind. Both are great. You want to get an answer no matter what, positive or negative. So that's the case for positive replies. Same but similar goes for wants to chat later. Sometimes we see realtors saying to our clients, I genuinely want to chat, but I'm on vacation for the next month. So you want to make sure you have a stage for wants to chat later people, because if you don't, you're going to forget. Ask yourself, do you sometimes forget to follow up with people? Like, be honest. I certainly do without a system. And so if you don't have a system, you're probably forgetting, which means you're probably not getting as many opportunities as you should, which means you're not getting as many loans in the pipeline as you should, and so on and so on. So it's really important. People don't systemize things to be more robotic. If it was robotic, then it would defeat the whole purpose. The point of using automation authentically is to be able to do what you were going to do anyways, but multiplying it by 10x and then spending no actual physical labor doing it. It's working smart versus working hard, long story short. So have a stage for wants to chat later individuals and then follow up with them when they said they'll be back in town or whatever it is. And the last thing we're going to go over today is the not interested stage, or the not interested people. A lot of people tell us and probably tell you, you know what, I'm not interested for whatever reason. I already work with 5 lenders. I have existing relationships the last 20 years. I work with an in-house lender. I am not interested for whatever their personal reason is. But you have any idea how many times we follow up with these people 3 months later and they go, you know what, things have changed. Let's have a chat. Things are always changing, especially in the mortgage industry. Rates are always changing. The market's always changing. There's new programs. There's new this. There's always news about something. So people's situations change as well. So think to yourself, how many people in your life, how many realtors have told you I'm not interested? Now, my next question is, how many realtors that said they're not interested did you follow up with 3 to 6 months later? If the answer is 0, you're probably leaving a lot of money on the table, because through the approach I'm going to show you here, at least 10% of people in the not interested stage that I have way over here I'm going to move this test lead over there. About 10% of people who say, you know what, I'm just not interested. When we follow up with them 3 to 6 months later, 10% go, you know what, I do want to chat. I changed companies. My current lender just retired. Like, there's so many reasons I've seen, and I have screenshots. I save all this stuff because it's like, hey, no excuses. Things happen, things change. You have to systemize your follow up, even for people who are not interested. So if you spoke with 100 realtors the last quarter and 20 of them said that they're not interested, you need to have a system where you put them in here, they stack on top of each other, and that stage that you place them in triggers a not interested right now follow up for your ideal realtor audience. So the way we have it set up is you put them in that stage, it waits 3 months, and then they get an email reminding them who you are, why you're reaching out, etc. So this subject line is a few months ago on LinkedIn. Hey, name, it's username. Hope you're well. We had been chatting on LinkedIn a few months back. I'm trying to grow my realtor network and help my current and future clients. So you're refreshing their memory and stating your purpose. I believe back then it wasn't a good time to speak, but I wanted to check in with you and see if your situation has changed at all over the past couple months. Would you be interested in having a chat? Thanks. And I swear to God, ask any of my licensed loan officer clients, this works at 10%. If you put 10 people in this stage, one is going to say, you know what, I do want to chat. My lender retired, whatever the reason is. Let's have a conversation. Or I can't get this loan done. Maybe you can do it. Or my current lender can't get this loan done. Maybe you can do it. So they get that email follow up. And if they don't respond, that's okay, because 3 months later, they're going to get the same message, but through text. And we could continue this, but just the strategy has been really well, just keeping it as one email, one text to the not interested today audience. And that's been really well. So back to the not interested document, or back to the follow up document, not interested section, you're going to want to have follow ups for this audience, one email and one SMS. And what that email and SMS is going to want to contain is a refresher of who you are. That's number one. Number two, restating your purpose and then mentioning that time has passed. And then a call to action, CTA. And when you systemize it, it's not all the labor that if you're doing this manually, if you're manually following up with hundreds of people who are not interested and wants to chat later, and it's not possible. You're gonna get lazy, you're gonna get discouraged, you're gonna lack consistency, and it's not gonna work. And then you're gonna wholeheartedly believe that it doesn't work. When the reality is you just weren't systemizing it in a way where it's a good approach. So what you need to do, if you're not going to work with us, you're going to need to craft your follow up messages for realtors, for divorce attorneys, for whoever your audiences are, and make follow ups for non responders, for neutral repliers, for positive repliers, for wants to chat later individuals, and for not interested individuals. And you can do all this manually. I personally have done it. But if you want to save time and work smart instead of working hard, you're going to want to systemize it using pipelines that are connected to workflows that follow up with all of your audiences and their status for you. When I say status, I mean, do they want to chat? Are they not interested? Did they reply neutrally? Neutrally means they didn't say yes, but they didn't say no to meeting you, to having a conversation with you. So that's all for today's episode. I hope you guys found this all valuable. If you do have any questions, please drop them down in the comments below. This video will be available for you to watch the replay on in this group, and it will be posted on YouTube in 2 weeks. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I hope you guys found this valuable. If you guys do need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here for you. I love you guys. I want you just to succeed. So again, thanks for hanging out with me. Have a great rest of your week. Happy Wednesday. And I'll see you next week on the Referral Partner Acquisition Show. See ya.